This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, it has been called the gateway to downtown Sarasota. Yet, for many years, the plaza on the east end of Main Street has been underutilized. But now major plans are in the works to do something about it. The county is now listening to proposals for the parking lot at Main and 301. Two high-rises are currently under construction. Plans are also moving ahead for the main plaza site to include the Hollywood 20 multiplex. The site's developer says it's an exciting time for the area.
Development of downtown is a good thing for our project. You know, we have 8.5 acres on the front entrance of opening for Main Street, and I think there's a lot of development going on, and that end of Main Street really needs development to go on over there. So high-end retail, hotels, the more attractions, I think the better for all of us down there.
Both the county and the developer hope to begin work early next year. Investigators are on the scene tonight after a helicopter pilot was forced to make an emergency landing. It happened in the heavily wooded area of Lemon Bay Preserve in Englewood. The sheriff's office says both people on board were taken to the hospital, one with potential injuries. And an investigation into the incident is set to take place. Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio may be making a stop on the Suncoast next month, according to the Sarasota Herald Tribune. Southwest Florida supporters for Rubio say he'll be here for a local fundraiser on January 11th. No word on the venue at this time. An earlier fundraiser was scrapped last summer because of a lack of donor interest. Manatee County School Board member Bob Gauss is announcing he will not seek re-election next year. Gauss was first elected to the seat in 2006 and recently finished a one-year term as chairman of the board. Gauss says he will continue with public service but wants to put more focus on his family and business. The issues facing children in Florida was center stage in Tallahassee today, with children's advocates lobbying lawmakers to invest more money in kids. Florida's Coalition for Children held their second annual rally in Tally today. The secretary for the Department of Children and Families says legislators are making progress in recent years funding children's services.
Folks are willing to invest in kids and families, but what they want to see is a return on investment. And we as a system have to do a better job of really being accountable for the dollars that we get and showing the impact that those dollars are having.
Governor Rick Scott is recommending an increase of $107 million for child safety in the next state budget, which lawmakers will take up this week. Lawmakers are also considering legislation to make texting while driving a more serious offense in Florida. Under the current law, a driver must be ticketed for another traffic violation before police can write a citation for texting. Trisha Vaccaro's son was killed by a driver who was texting, and she says a tougher law could help save lives.
Having this law as a secondary offense is not supporting our law enforcement to do their job. They can see someone on their phones and don't have any legal rights to stop them.
The penalty for texting is currently just a $30 fine for first-time offenders. Only 1,800 people across the state received a ticket for texting while driving last year. The town of Longboat Key is working with an emergency debris contractor to finish removing dead fish from dozens of canals. Crews are cleaning out the canals from Longboat Harbor south to Bay Isle. Cleanup efforts began last month after a bloom of red tide killed massive numbers of fish. Town officials say that they picked up nearly 15,000 pounds of dead fish. Palmetto is set to break ground on a $10 million worth of improvements to Riverside Park, including plans to replace a battered seawall. The city deems the seawall a threat to public safety. Sarasota-based Reef Innovations is designing a new wall with terrace-like structures which will protect the seawall, attract wildlife, and provide a place for visitors to stand. And golfers got quite a surprise on Myakka Pines Golf Course in Englewood. Two gators in a knockdown, drag-out fight. Goliath, the gator, is seen regularly at the golf course, but not often like this. Apparently, Goliath chased a smaller gator out of the water As for who won, witnesses say Goliath was the victor and shot a 6 under par. Both animals walked away unharmed and shared a beer in the clubhouse later. Bob?
That's a good one. Yeah, I saw a video of one, too, on social media over the weekend, two going at it on the East Coast, too, at a golf course. So I guess it's that time of year.
Yeah, or
absolutely.
just bad golfing?
Yeah. Very good there. We are looking at some pretty nice weather for golf. As of late, things have been pretty nice around town. It's going to change a little bit on Thursday. Will be the best chance for some showers this week. And this cold front's not going to cool us down all that much. Here's the details. Pretty warm today, 84 degrees, almost a record, 4 degrees shy of the record set in 1991. So we start December 1st, just like we ended November, very warm on a warm note. A couple of cold fronts moving across the U.S., one bringing snow and freezing rain to Kansas City, and not much moisture to work with, so the snow has been relatively light. But that front now moving through the lower Mississippi Valley will eventually get close to us and bring us a chance for showers on Thursday. We had a few light showers earlier today, not much at all, and then some rain to our southeast is weakening now, moving toward Fort Myers. Currently at the airport, generally fair skies, 74 degrees, and the dew point is at 70, or humidity high, 87%. We will see some fog form tonight. Some of that fog could be a problem tomorrow morning for commuters, on, especially inland areas. That wind will be out of the east, and it won't be all that strong gusts as high as 12 miles an hour. That's it tomorrow, and it looks like winds typically around 5 to 10 miles an hour out of the east and southeast. Those winds will, though, pick up and when the front approaches on Thursday, and looks like small craft advisories could be issued as early as Friday with the front. Now, as far as tomorrow goes, not much of a chance to rain, a 30% chance for mainly inland showers, and then late Thursday night, or I should say Wednesday night, Thursday morning, better chances for some scattered showers to move on in. Boaters, not much wind for your sail, mostly smooth out there. Water temperature now at 74 degrees, and the forecast for tonight, calling for some fog around, and that fog will burn off tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy with a high, again warm, near 82 degrees. Slightly cooler on Thursday, and then we'll rebound and get warm again over the weekend.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, from high school to the pros, we look into what's being done to protect players from the life-altering effects of concussions. That story when we come back.
Now get the new Ford you want with no hassle and no negotiating necessary. It's the Friends and Neighbors pricing event at Sarasota Ford. Shop over 500 new Fords on-site or online, and the one low price you see is the price you pay. 16 Ford Fusion SE, just $17,995 or $189 a month. A new F-150 Super Crew XLT from $28,795. Plus, buy new Fords and don't pay a thing till spring. Think of it as an inside deal from your friends at Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. Visit sarasotaford.com.
Attention! This is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or even death. At the law offices of Jacoby & Myers, we've been bringing compassion and experience to our clients for over 40 years. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call Jacoby & Myers today. You may be entitled to compensation. Our firm has decades of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Call the law offices of Jacoby & Myers now for a free confidential consultation. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
Please call 800-897-6764.
We learned last week football great Frank Gifford was suffering at the time of his death from the effects of concussions suffered decades earlier. It was just the latest revelation about a growing concern. There's even a major new motion picture on the subject. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo joins us with more. Dwayne?
Well, Alan, you hear about it more and more every year. Athletes suffering long-term damage from contact sport head injuries. One jarring collision can change everything in an athlete's life, especially when it affects the brain.
Repetitive head trauma chokes the brain.
A new movie opening up at the end of the year, bound to be used as a wake-up call.
Sends Frank Gifford flying around it.
In 1960, NFL Hall of Famer Frank Gifford was on the receiving end of perhaps the most memorable blow to the head in NFL history, knocking the running back out cold and out of football for an entire year. Pathologists diagnosed the late running back with chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
There's the stop of the forward progress.
And more recently, St. Louis quarterback Case Keenum was slammed to the ground during a pass attempt, with his head crashing onto the AstroTurf, but still stays in the game. Local doctor George Rozelle has seen this before.
I think the NFL should be doing much more to support treatment.
Last year, Rozelle was a principal investigator for a research study of retired NHL and NFL athletes who are suffering symptoms of post-concussion syndrome.
We've been able to establish through our own research that the post-concussive syndrome can be treated, and we can hopefully prevent a lot of the drastic consequences down the line.
But Dr. Rozelle says the focus should be to make these sports safer. The newly developed Major League Football, with Lakewood Ranch as their home base, says they're doing just that.
And we're certainly looking at every angle and every possibility and every medical advancement that we can get into our league.
And are looking into other organizations in the future to make the league as safe as it can possibly be.
We invite those people, come to us. Let's see what protocols you have. Let's see if we can make the game safer.
And according to Rozelle, the focus to make the sport safer should start first on the youth level.
As many of these players start in youth football, and that's a particular concern because the brain is still developing. The brain doesn't really mature till the mid to late 20s. So that's not a good time to get a brain injury.
Now, some local high school coaches are recognizing the seriousness of concussions, including the head coach here at Palmetto High School. He's looking to reduce injury by taking the head out of tackling.
And it actually starts, at the youth level with a heads-up mentality. And really, we've been doing that for years. We've always taught, no matter whether it was blocking or tackling, to make sure that the head was in a position of strength, head up. Trying to not ever have your head down. Every coach teaches a different target area on the body.
Techniques such as wrapping up the thighs and roll tackle. Marino says many of these techniques usually trickle down from the professional level.
We as high school coaches and youth coaches, we go to clinics, and so we're always hearing different perspectives of how to tackle, how to block.
High school football accounts for 47% of all reported sports concussions, with 33% of concussions occurring during practice. These numbers prompt Marino and other coaches to err on the side of caution.
All of our kids are baseline tested, so if there's any slight variation from their normal brain activity, when they go through the testing, then they're out for at least a week, if not 10 days to 2 weeks.
And just like the NFL, a helmet-to-helmet hit is a penalty in high school football.
I think the referees are doing a better job. The rules have changed. They've been adapted to be more proactive in preventing not just head injuries, but other types of physical injuries throughout a game.
Now, Alan, despite the NFL's effort to make the game a little safer, you're now starting to see a trend of NFL players retiring early for fear of post-concussion syndrome, such as Chris Borland and Patrick Willis, both from the San Francisco 49ers. It would be interesting to see and find out how many parents would restrict their kids from playing high school football for that same reason.
All right, Dwayne, thanks a lot. Coming up, our roundtable.
You can help make the wishes of Suncoast children and seniors come true this holiday season. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. Join ABC7 and share your good fortune by becoming a Salvation Army Angel.
Just stop by ABC7 or Sunset Kia in Sarasota, Bradenton, or Venice to pick up an Angel Tree gift tag. It will tell you what a local child or senior citizen is wishing for this holiday season.
Thanks for your generosity and happy holidays from ABC7.
Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Listen up. Tonight's all-new Muppets is jam-packed with it all. Awesome! Movie stars.
You're looking at the guy that played Bruce Willis in the future, playing himself in the past.
Shocking moments. Insane stunts.
Gonzo!
Rock stars.
Dave Grohl!
And the drum battle of the century. Animal versus Foo Fighter.
Oh, what's that? A bell? Time for school.
The Muppets, all new tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC.
This week on Millionaire.
I really, really, really want to be your first millionaire.
When the going gets tough.
I'm not sure. Oh, goodness me, this is a difficult one.
They get tougher.
I want the million. I'll put 25 on the line. Final, please help me.
I came here to play. I'm going to go for it.
Oh, Matt.
You're right. $50,000.
This week.
Here it is, your $100,000 question. This will be a pure guess.
On Millionaire.
Tonight at 7:30 on ABC 7. Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. Sore throats can be a real pain, no pun intended, and they're caused by many different factors.
But how can you recognize the difference between a sore throat and strep throat? That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
A cold front approaching the area promises us a chance of rainfall and some cooler temperatures.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Welcome back. With an ever-increasing awareness of the long-term damage from concussions, what can be done to keep football players and other athletes safe on the field? Joining us for more is Coach Dave Marino, who is head football coach at the Palmetto Tigers, Dr. John Moore of Advanced Sports Medicine Center of Sarasota, and ABC 7 reporter Dwayne Lindo. Thanks all for joining us. Dwayne, you cover high school football games all season long. Do you see more concussions than you used to see out there?
Well, you don't necessarily, from a reporter's perspective or from a shooter's perspective, you don't necessarily see concussions because you don't know. But, I mean, there could be helmet-to-helmet hits between kids that, you just don't know what's a concussion and what's not a concussion on the sidelines.
And Coach, let me ask you, because obviously the technology for equipment is getting a lot better, especially with football helmets, but is there just so much you can do with the football helmets, or do you really have to do what you were talking about in Dwayne's story in terms of taking a different approach to teaching how to tackle?
The game is so fast. It's really difficult to even, when you try to teach proper technique and target areas to, for a kid to shoot for. That's what John and I were talking about. It's so fast that sometimes you're in an uncompromising position, and you're going to have helmet-to-helmet contact. Was it intentional? Was it targeting? Was it spearing? No, it was definitely an unintentional event that just took place because of the speed of the game. The helmets have gotten much better, no doubt about that. But whenever you still have any two hard objects colliding with such velocity, there's going to be injury.
Dr. Moore, what do you see in terms of your practice? And, it's one thing to deal with orthopedic injuries, broken bones, and bruises, and even, tears, MCL tears, and so forth. But I would imagine it's a lot more difficult to help teams manage the neurological problems that could come from concussions.
Yeah, there's subtle changes, so it's hard to look at somebody and tell whether they have a concussion straight away. You can be unconscious or you can just have minimal changes, but it's all a concussion. It's all a brain injury. I personally think that the way to get rid of concussions are to get rid of head contact altogether. You have to do that by making a soft helmet. You have to make a marshmallow helmet. It has to look the same, be the same, but you have to decelerate the head. What happens in a concussion is your head stops and a brain hits against the inside of your skull. That's a concussion. So if you had an absorptive shell on your head instead of a hard helmet on your head, you would want to hit them less because it wouldn't inflict damage and it would decelerate your head.
I don't know if that would fly. Would it fly? Creating helmets that seem outwardly less safe, Coach?
Well, everybody would react. Obviously, a player knowing that his helmet is soft and it's not going to be protective, sort of like, we were talking about this as well. Frank Gifford played, they didn't even have face masks, right, and the helmets weren't. They weren't using their helmets back then. So you're still going to have the same problem. It's a collision sport. So whether you're using a forearm, whether you're using a shoulder more, you're going to have a high impact collision. So our kids won't use, you won't see helmet to helmet, but I don't know if it's going to reduce the concussions because of the other body parts that are going to make that collision.
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but back then the major concern was skull fractures, which the helmets do guard against. It's the brain injury which seems more problematic. Doctor, let me ask you this. Are there enough medical professionals on the sidelines right now in high school sports to monitor the athletes and injuries?
I really think so. There's a certified trainer on every sideline. They're well educated. They're college graduates. There's a medical professional, medical doctor there at every game, and they're watching closely. So I think that's pretty good. The coaches are really well trained on what to look for and what to avoid. So I think there's a fair amount of people watching what's going on out there.
Dwayne, do you see, there are a lot of parents out there, even the parents, people who played in the NFL, who I hear on TV and radio every day saying, I'm not going to let my kid play football. Do you see fewer kids going into football for those reasons?
I talked to Dr. George Roselle, who's one of the leading experts in concussions in Sarasota on the Sun Coast. And he was saying that there are parents that, in the youth league, that won't let their kids play. And he's seeing more and more of this, that won't let their kids play because they can potentially get hurt. And I'd like to add also that one jarring statistic, that 90% of most diagnosed concussions do not involve a loss of consciousness. So that leads me to believe that, some kids just don't know what it feels like. So I think, I guess education is a key as well.
Right. Coach, let's talk about the competitive pressures because, in Florida especially, nothing is bigger than high school football, and that's coming from a baseball parent. When push comes to the shove in such a competitive environment, do you think that some coaches don't take the proper precautions in terms of what they should be doing in terms of their kids' safety?
Well, again, fortunately, we have protocols in place where other people are monitoring and making those decisions for us and going through the protocol, using comparison to the baseline testing. I'll give you an example where I always err on the side of caution, and I erred overly on the side of caution to protect the player, where there was a collision. When I saw it, I was like, wow, that was a big hit. And I said, get him out. But when he came to the sideline, it was more shoulder. The noise you heard, the impact, the collision you heard, it sounded like a loud thud and a crack, wasn't the helmet. So he really, it wasn't as worse as it seemed. When you hear that collision on the field, you think, wow, that's something. Get them out. We got to see.
It's not always clear cut, gentlemen. We have to leave it there. I want to thank you all for coming in, and we'll be back in just a moment.
This is an important medical warning. The FDA has issued a public health advisory for all people taking the type 2 diabetes drug Invokana. The warning states that Invokana may lead to diabetic ketoacidosis, a serious condition where the body produces high levels of blood acids called ketones that may require hospitalization. If you or a loved one have taken Invokana and have been diagnosed with kidney failure or hospitalized with ketoacidosis, call the law offices of Jacoby and Myers today. Invokana may also cause other forms of liver damage. In more severe cases, Invokana has led to organ failure, coma, and even death. At the law offices of Jacoby and Myers, we've been bringing compassion and experience to our clients for over 40 years. You may be entitled to significant compensation for all of the injuries and damage that Invokana has caused you and your loved ones. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
Please call 800-671-1361.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Do you need to pick a new doctor with the new benefits year? I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, our doctor is in the house with questions you will want to ask a physician before you choose. In Suncoast for Sale, there's some amazing deals in South County. The Ditchfield Family Singers will perform for us, and we'll have a huge Hanukkah spread with Chef Judy.
Tomorrow at 4 on ABC 7 Suncoast View. Smart, fun talk. That's everything.
Are you a hands-on grandma? 3 kids, 16 dogs. I've cleaned up more.
The Talk, Sharon Osbourne and Julie Chen.
Ballet dancing.
No!
Magic
Mike!
Kick off our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 show. You're getting Rach's 5-ingredient steaks, Katie Lee's 4-ingredient soup, 3-ingredient dishes from 3 super chefs.
Who doesn't love bacon?
And a 1-ingredient dessert. Next, Rachel.
Tomorrow at 3 on ABC 7.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to cross home plate in front of a cheering crowd at a Major League ballpark? I'm Max Swinitz, and you can find out by joining Save Our Seabirds, the Baltimore Orioles, and ABC7 for Run for the Birds, December 12th at Ed Smith Stadium. The 5K and 1 mile fun run will end at home plate and will be followed by a festival with live music, food, and fun. Proceeds benefit Save Our Seabirds, whose mission is to rescue and rehabilitate sick and injured birds. Register today at raceroster.com.
Welcome back. Last night we brought you the report on Donald Trump's visit to the Suncoast. He drew thousands of enthusiastic supporters to his rally, and we asked you if the candidate has what it takes to be president. Nisla Whetstone writes, he's a bigoted, self-serving narcissist, and he speaks for all the closet racists and xenophobes. He is dangerous for this country. He's a hypocrite and a liar. No, no, and no. And Dirk Cram writes, I don't know what Trump speech your reporter was at, but the one I was at, I saw people of all ages there here to hear Trump. So your reporter was wrong. You liberals are just a bunch of whiny people, and I'm tired of listening to your BS. Hey, Dirk, the point wasn't the age of Mr. Trump's supporters. It was that they were overwhelmingly white. If you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news at 7. And that is all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn. Have a great night.